Jason never wanted to fight again. He had promised his mother that he would leave his past behind, that he would never raise his fists unless he had no choice. But as he stood in the dimly lit school hallway, surrounded by a gang of sneering bullies, he realized that some promises were easier made than kept. It had only been a week since he transferred to Eastwood High, a quiet school in a town that wasn't used to new faces. Jason had hoped for a fresh start, away from the violence that had defined his past. Back in his old neighborhood, fighting wasn't a choice, it was survival. He had trained under his uncle, a retired MMA fighter, who taught him that discipline was just as important as strength. But now, all he wanted was peace. Unfortunately, peace was not what Eastwood High had to offer. The school was ruled by a group of bullies led by Trent Walker, a towering senior with a cruel smile and a reputation for making others suffer. His gang thrived on fear, targeting the weak, the quiet, and the new. Jason fit their perfect target profile. It started small. A shove in the hallway. A stolen lunch. Books knocked out of his hands. Jason ignored it, just as he had promised his mother he would. But then, one afternoon, things escalated. "Hey, new kid," Trent called out as Jason was walking past the lockers. His voice dripped with mockery. "You deaf or just stupid?" Jason stopped, gripping the strap of his backpack tightly. He exhaled slowly, keeping his emotions in check. "I don't want any trouble," he said, his voice calm but firm. Trent laughed, stepping closer. "That's the thing, buddy, you don't get a choice." He shoved Jason hard against the lockers. The crowd of students that had gathered watched in silence, their faces filled with either amusement or sympathy. No one stepped in. No one ever did. Jason clenched his fists but forced himself to relax. "Not here. Not again." "Say something, freak," Trent taunted, pushing him again. Jason took another deep breath, preparing to walk away. But then he saw her, Emily. She was the quiet girl in his English class, always sitting alone. Right now, she was standing a few feet away, clutching her books, her eyes wide with fear. Not for herself, for him. Jason had seen that look before. He knew it well. It was the same look his little sister had when she watched him come home, bruised and battered from another fight back in his old town. The look of someone who had seen too much cruelty. And that's when Jason knew. He couldn't walk away. Trent grinned, mistaking Jason's silence for submission. He reached out again, this time, aiming to grab Jason's collar. Jason moved. His body reacted before his mind could even process it. In a flash, he sidestepped Trent's grab, locked his wrist, and twisted it in a way that sent the bully stumbling forward. Before Trent could recover, Jason delivered a sharp strike to his stomach, sending him gasping for air. The hallway went dead silent. Trent's gang barely had time to react before Jason turned to them, his eyes cold and calculating. The air around him changed, no longer the quiet, timid transfer student, but something else entirely. "You want to try, too?" Jason's voice was steady, but there was an edge to it that sent a chill down their spines. One of Trent's lackeys stepped forward, thinking he could rush Jason. A mistake. With practiced ease, Jason ducked, swept his leg, and sent him crashing to the floor. Another tried to punch him, but Jason caught his wrist mid-air, twisted it behind his back, and forced him to his knees. It was over in less than 30 seconds. Trent groaned on the floor, his face twisted in pain and disbelief. His gang was either on the ground or too scared to move. Jason adjusted his backpack and looked down at them. "Don't ever touch me again," he said quietly. "And don't touch anyone else either. If I see you messing with someone, you'll wish this was the worst beating you ever got." He turned and walked away, leaving the entire hallway stunned. The next day, something changed. Students whispered about him, but not in fear, there was respect in their voices. Emily approached him at lunch, a shy but genuine smile on her face. "Thank you," she said softly. Jason simply nodded. Trent and his gang? They never bothered anyone again. They didn't dare. Jason had found peace, but he had also found something else, purpose. He didn't need to fight for survival anymore. Now, he fought for something bigger. And that was a fight he was willing to take.